making breakfast and trying to keep myself busy. Right now I got just below you here, I got my not my iron skillet, it's a restaurant. My electric skillet fired up, cooking bacon. Got my coffee cup. Oh, this is something I want to show y'all. This is an Ember coffee cup. One of my subscribers, Tom Bell, actually, he has his own channel. Go check him out. He's a newer driver here at Millis, and he gave me that. And Tom, I appreciate that, buddy. And what the Ember cup does is it gives you a perfect temperature coffee cup. I mean, a perfect temperature coffee, and it stays at whatever temperature you set it at. There's an app for it and everything. So I know there's super truckers out there that say, I drink my cup of mug from a shoe or whatever the hell it is you drink your coffee from. But I don't mind keeping mine at a perfect temperature when the inside of my truck is fluctuating because it's really cold outside. I got my windows open back here, so let's step out of the way. You'll notice I no longer use this top bunk for storage. I wanted to open up. My buddy Mark calls this cathedral ceilings, and got my windows open to give it a better feel, better vibe. So that's not what I came to talk to you about today, though. I wanted to talk to you about, see, there's bacon. Put it in my nice little tray there. So, I wanted to talk about disappointments as a truck driver. And this does not apply to everybody. Some of you are owner-operators that watch my channel. Some of you work for companies that have more miles than they do drivers, which is cool. But disappointments as a truck driver it's a real thing. Disappointments in life are a real thing. You're going to get disappointed no matter what you're doing, no matter where you're working. And my particular disappointment this morning, well, yesterday I got to our Ohio terminal, 2 o'clock-ish, and I was put on a list. So a list, some people don't know what that is. When you get where you're going, you're done with your load, ready for dispatch, and your dispatcher says, no freight right now. Then you go on a list. And then you're on this list in the dispatch office, and then as loads come in, they divvy them out. Well, I was on a list from 2 o'clock yesterday to 6 o'clock this morning. 6, 7 o'clock, something like that. And it's on a load going from Trent, Ohio to Upper Marlboro, Maryland. 514-mile run, about 8 hours. Got 3 days to get it there, pretty much. I mean, I got the load this morning at 6 or 7. Today to tomorrow, you can call it 2 days, whatever. I have days to get an 8-hour load where it needs to be. They're not open on weekends, so I can't drop it early. And on top of that, it's in Maryland. I'd be okay with it being in Maryland. I'd be okay with it being a 500-mile run if it wasn't for me having to wait till Monday to deliver the damn thing. So, as a truck driver, you know, getting into the business, I was under the impression, and I had this conversation recently with another YouTuber, actually, a friend of mine, and someone you probably know, Mr. Rush, Scott Rush over on Rush and Trucking. Go check him out if you ain't already. Anyway, we were talking about how, you know, we just assumed getting into the trucking business, you were going to have 1,000-mile runs at a time. You're going to be doing a damn Atlantic crossing, you know. So you're going to need rations for days, and you're going to need to be stocked up on supplies, and it's just going to be this big adventure every single trip, and it's not. Now, is this new for me? No, I've known this. I got into this back in May of 2019, and at the time of this video, it is at the end of January of 2020. So I've had plenty of experience at this point with short loads and some long loads. But I know drivers that work for bigger companies than Millis, and they don't get very many bigger runs than I get. For the most part, my big runs are around 900 miles. Every once in a while, I'll get a 1,000-mile run. But more often, along the line of average, I'd say it's closer to between 600 and 700 miles is my average run, which is okay if you keep me running. But I pretty much have to sit here until tomorrow, at which point I can, at my leisure, start making my way down the road to get this beer load delivered. And that disappoints me. And I can't say I'm necessarily let me get my paper towel here. Can't necessarily say that I'm disappointed in Millis. Just disappointed. Disappointed in my expectation of 1,000 miles here, 1,000 miles there, and being able to make all the miles that I want to make, because I was under the impression if you have the willingness to drive the miles, then we have the miles for you to drive. Like as an industry, you hear about the trucking shortage. I mean, the trucker shortage and everything, which I think is a myth, but that's not for this video. I love what I do. And again, this isn't the first time that this is, but I want you to know, as a new driver or a potential new driver, this may be good or bad for you. Every run's not going to be 1,000 miles at a time. You're not going to be always on the hustle for a 3,000 to 4,000 mile week. I'm convinced that some people actually like these lists because it gives them a chance to sit down and not work, but be okay with it because they're at work technically. So, because some people seem to be a lot more okay with it than others. And I'm not saying everybody that's okay with the list is lazy. Not everybody fits into the mold I just said, but I think that is a scenario for some people. Some people are okay with lists because they just look at it as that's part of the job, especially the more experienced drivers. Something I'm not. So, I just want to roll. But instead, I'm sitting in Trenton, Ohio, unable to, I could roll, but I'm 8 hours away, got a full clock. I can make it there in one day easy, and I'll sit there for 2 days. So I'd rather sit here at our terminal for 2 days, because at least we got a car, and or I can take my truck and personal conveyance down to the grocery store if I run out of groceries. If I sit here and eat all my damn groceries, so I'd say if you're thinking about getting into trucking, you're not going to have this grand adventure that you think you're going to have. That could be good or bad. A lot of the team drivers, there is a guy that used to work for Millis that went to work for CRST. He went to a team deal, and he's already started traveling the country. He's seen a lot more. But teams are a little bit different because you have 2 clocks to work with, so they do tend to give you more miles, but you get paid less per mile. So whatever works for you. I'm just disappointed. This isn't a video to drag anybody down. This is just me keeping up to my promise that I would be real with you. I mean, I came off of home time, and this happens at other companies. So if you're looking at Millis, it's not just Millis. I feel like we have more lists, but that's because I'm here. I've talked to other drivers, and some of them sit on their ass too, just like I'm having to sit on mine right now. But I came off home time Thursday, picked up my load, dropped it in Ohio, and here I sit. You know, if I could have had a crystal ball, I'd have just stayed at home for a few more days. But freight's got to be moved, you know, so that's what I'm here to do, is to move it. And I know I'm paying my dues as a new driver. And I know that once I get more experience down the road, maybe, you know, be at Miller's or somewhere else, whoever gives me more miles, you know. But I'm sure there are guys that have been here longer, they get a little bit better miles just because of their tenure. I'd be naive to not think so. I think you would too. But let me know in the comments, or even shoot me an email so we can talk about it a little bit. What are your biggest expectations as a truck driver? And just so we can kind of have a dialogue a little bit. Even in the comment section is cool too, because I know you might have the same question or comment that other people have about just being what your potential disappointments could be. Or now, like I've said in previous videos, Millis has always taken care of me as far as me and my family, got me home when I needed to be. And usually my checks, and I did a video on my paycheck, and I didn't cherry pick those checks. Those were some more recent checks. You do make good money, decent money, especially as a startup driver. But this is just my disappointment. I'm a little high maintenance than others, I think, when it comes to things I want to do and my personal life and stuff like that. But what are your thoughts? I'm gonna wrap this bacon up and finish making it here. I have my breakfast. I got eggs coming too, but I'm not gonna make y'all stick around for that. But I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me, listening to me vent. Let me know what you think. I'm really looking forward to hearing what your excitements are, what your disappointments might be, based on just things that you've seen, things that you've heard, not necessarily for me, but just hearing about the industry. Until next time, drive on, driver.